things. I did hear the term mansplain, though. Why don't we investigate that a little bit? When you say mansplain, can you define that so we understand it?
When men explain stuff that we obviously understood, but we were joking.
Joking about the explanation, or I'm just confused?
Well, he was mansplaining a question he already asked that we already answered.
Were you mansplaining it, Jake?
No, well, if mansplaining is based on the fact that you already understood, then you are sorely mistaken with your terms.
I kind of think mansplain is a bit of a sexist term. It's kind of, well,
yes, you can.
I feel like women
women
would be very upset if there was a term like she-laborating.
She-laborating?
And I dismiss whatever you're trying to tell me. I simply dismiss it by saying, oh, well, you're she-laborating. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear your she-laboration. So I just think, putting man before explain, mansplaining. For example, wait, hold on. I have the perfect example. Let's change man. Let's change it to blacksplaining. Is it racist?
I knew you was
Hold on.
say that.
Is it racist?
I'm ready.
Say that.
Well,
This
did
is-
you want me
mind
to explain
you,
a black
hold on.
term, or what are we explaining?
Hold on. Mind you, this is a
I could do
term
that
I
for
would
you.
never use, but is that a racist term?
No, you just made that shit up.
Well, let's assume.
Okay,
It is, but that's
okay,
not
so
the
if I'm
same.
Hold on. How is it not the same?
Because the black people aren't the oppressors.
Oh.
Men are the oppressors. So yeah, y'all can take that little mansplain, that little discrimination, because y'all.
Ooh,
are
I
over
got
us.
something though.
Right, you can
just
take that.
told
That's like
us
if
we
we
need to
said
submit to
white
you by
splain. If we
taking our
said
shoes
white
off.
splain, we could say that.
Oh, you can say white
We
splain.
could say white splain because they're the oppressors.
Listen,
That's how
I was
go.
talking to my man
Okay,
today.
so-
Wait,
We could say white splain though.
I was talking to my man today. He was like, here's the difference between a man and a woman speaking. A man is thinking about how the other man is going to think about it. Like, he's thinking about all the men because they all think the same. You can predict a guy the way that they think. But as a woman, they're speaking for only themselves. And in reality, a man is already going to collectively make everything that you say about every woman in the room. You hear me or no?
You're saying men make things
So your man-
generalized
Yes, 100%.
versus women make things their specificity or individualness?
Yes.
No, women.
I mean, maybe every once in a while, like all women. No, I don't even have an example for that. Like, all women
have you ever
love
said
when a
men?
man
Have
is
you ever said
strong.
men
No, I
suck?
like
Have you ever
girls.
said
Like,
men?
what are you talking about?
Have you ever said men suck?
What do they suck on?
Bro, that was the actually retarded answer ever.
What you'll actually find is that when women and men receive information, men tend to compartmentalize information, whereas women tend to take all of the information,
Make it about them.
rub it all together like this, and then make it about themselves.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that a woman is thinking about themselves and a man is thinking collectively as a man is one. You
A man
hear what I'm saying?
thinks logically,
Okay.
whereas women think emotionally.
Whatever the word you want to use is,
so,
they're thinking
hold
of
on,
them as a
hold on.
collective, whereas a woman
Stop
isn't.
the prattle. Stop the prattle. So
I don't know.
So let's explore these terms a little bit. So you said there's an oppressor-oppressed dynamic. Is that your position between men and women, that there's an oppressor-oppressed dynamic between men and women?
I didn't say
No.
that.
No, I don't agree.
So that's just your position.
Yeah.
But you don't think it's sexist to say,
And if it is,
What, mansplaining?
and if it is,
shut up, hold on, bro. I can only talk to one person at a time. So going back to this before I was so rudely interrupted.
You were
spicy
talking to me.
today.
Yeah, I was talking to you, and I was hoping to have a conversation with you. She rudely interrupted both of us. So I'm just trying to better understand. So you don't think mansplaining is sexist?
No,
Okay. Would the term
And if it is?
blacksplaining be racist?
you just made that shit up. I don't care. I
No,
don't
but
care.
would it be?
What do you
Like, let's say you were
Is
telling
there
me
a
something.
definition? Give me the definition.
Whatever.
How about if you were trying to explain, for example, the history of redlining to him, and he goes, "Oh, why are you blacksplaining?"
We flipping the table over.
You guys just made this shit up. I don't even care.
I mean,
No, I get it.
We did
I-
make up the hypothetical,
you
yeah,
guys
so it's
did.
true.
but
So
I mean,
is it racist? No, because you guys made that shit up.
but hold on. I mean, let's assume we did make it up. if you just take an analysis of the actual term blacksplaining, which by the way, I think that's a racist term. Okay. I would never like dismiss if a black person was explaining something to me, I would never just dismiss their position. Oh, okay, that's blacksplaining. So I think that's racist. I think you should also think that's racist because I think that would be deeply offensive to black people.
Let me get upset with you.
I mean, no, I'm not a proponent of the term. I'm against the term.
You just made it up.
I mean, you could probably Google this, and people have probably used it before. But whether I made it up, yeah, I mean,
it actually doesn't matter at all.
There's an actual
It doesn't matter at all because what he's doing, he's using an analogy, right? And he's using blacksplaining, whether he made it up or not, to see whether or not your logic is consistent and whether you're actually morally consistent with your mansplaining and with blacksplaining. If you think between sexism and racism. I don't care about
either.
Me personally, they are both one and the same. Yes, you're correct. Yes, mansplaining could be sexist. Maybe you deserve to be sexualized a little bit because women have been going through it their whole life.
Well, no, it's not sexualizing, but okay.
I haven't been sexualized at this table.
Okay, sexist, making always women, men.
You meant sexist. Go ahead.
Is it a podcast of one person or what?
Hey, hold on. Look.
Because 40 minutes you speak, we don't speak.
Yeah, you got. Hold on. Look.
Don't forget to ask us questions.
Hey. First off, there's a panel of 10 people here total. Have you ever run a podcast? Have you ever run a podcast? No. It's difficult. Look, people are going to have their time to speak. We spent 5-10 minutes talking about your 100 dates. You've gotten maybe the second. I mean, I wasn't here when Jake was here. You've already gotten a lot of attention. You'll get a little bit more, okay? But like, it's not your job as a guest and a panelist to dictate to me, oh, I don't feel like I've been given an adequate amount of time to speak in the past 10 minutes.
What?
So,
can you explain?
How about this? If I want to talk to her for the next 2 hours and all of you have to shut the fuck up for the next 2 hours, I'm not going to do that because I'd love to hear from all of you. But if I was inclined to just talk to, in fact, I decide I just want to talk to Jake for the next 2 hours about fucking Australia.
I'm intercepting.
If I want to talk about Australia,
I think that's wrong.
Well, I'm going to fucking do it.
If we're going to talk about oppression, the Australians are the most oppressed out of everyone.
So, I'm going to try to involve other people here, but she's made a comment. I'm going to address it. Are you dissatisfied with the amount of tension you're currently receiving?
Can I explain?
Sure,
Yes.
Go ahead.
It was not noticed to you. It was more to her because you asked
Okay,
the
I'll
question
accept
and
that.
she start talking. It's like about we respect each other. It's about that.
I can.
Sorry.
So you're asking
could
me
accept
to
that.
shut the fuck up.
Can you please do us a favor? Turn around and tell her to shut the
Yeah,
fuck
tell
up.
me, shut the fuck up. You have whenever you want to speak,
Say it
you
in
got that.
If you do, we'll speak to you more.
This is his house. He is the main, so he need control the situation.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Brian,
Put a man in
you
control of me?
You are the
Because
man.
he's
I'm
the lead-
okay.
he's
I'm
the
all
lead
right.
Of this group.
I didn't say I was the submissive one.
I like.
You just gotta hop in. If you got something to say, just say it. Just gotta hop in there.
Yeah, that's a good point,
gotta hop
Rebel.
in there.
If you got something to say, but look, if somebody jumps in, I'm going to try my best to try to bring everybody into the conversation. But look, it's the reality of a panel show like this. Some people are a bit more conversationally dominant. They're going to have more input. Some people don't have input on the topic. I don't think everybody's going to get an equal amount of time here, but I'm going to try my best to try to get everybody in it. And that's why we have the questionnaire, which we're going to get into soon. That'll give everybody an opportunity, some other questions. So, yeah. Let's try to wrap up. Let's try to wrap up though on the conversation that was being had. So what was your thing? And then
Oh no, I'm done.
I don't even remember at this point.
Tell me about mansplaining
I
and
didn't-
racism.
Mansplaining is
All
not
I said
sexist.
was that they're one and the same.
Because
Like
the
yes, one is
oppressor and
sexist
oppressor
and one is
dynamic.
racist.
Okay, let me hear
It's
your,
not sexist.
Let me hear your take. Let me hear your take.
Mansplaining is not sexist. That's just the end of the take.
Okay.
There's
Even
no.
men
like to
recognize
explain
that
shit.
they can mansplain. I've seen
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm
parody
speaking
videos
logically. I'm
online.
speaking logically. Speaking
recognize
logically has
How
the
about
same
this?
arrow.
But how about this? So do you guys think but it's not just a man explaining something. It's like there's another component of it. The man is explaining it how? In a negative way? Like
No,
condescending.
not even condescending. He's just saying it as how every man would think.
Well, then we should start saying womplaining.
So woman.
Womplaining. I like that.
Women complaining.
I'm womplaining right now.
Women
My
complaining.
womplaining is the shoot.
But so I guess my qualm with it is like you're attaching, so you're making it into a negative thing. Like, oh, mansplaining is a negative. Yes.
It's only looking at
it's
one
a positive
view.
Thing?
It's only looking at one view. So if you said that's the
does
same
that
thing
mean?
that's only looking at one view, you're only looking
view?
at the
Which
view
view?
of a man.
Which view?
If I say you're mansplaining, you're
Wait, hold on.
only
Let me
looking
ask
at
you a
it from
question.
the view of a man.
Let me ask you a question. 2 + 2 = 4. Is that mansplaining?
No.
But what if you disagree and I'm like,
Why would you
Now you're
disagree? Now you're just stupid. Here's the
Sure.
difference.
yes, you're just
Mansplaining-
stupid. But are you woman stupid if you disagree?
But no, listen.
Are you woman
When a
stupid?
man splains, when a man is
I thought you were going for answer.
when a man is mansplaining, he's
No, I'm
only
not doing it.
talking about what men think. He's not thinking about what a woman would think.
You are woman-splaining to me
Okay,
right now.
sure, because I'm thinking about how the men in the room aren't thinking from my
And I'm
perspective. They're
thinking-
only thinking from theirs.
I'm thinking about how the women are thinking, about how the men are thinking. And this is some like inception woman-splaining
Okay,
here.
so we both do it. I womsplain, right? Or woms complain.
You're
what is
a
it?
woman
And you
splainer.
mansplain. It's fine. Is there a problem to
You're
get
a-
offended by it? Seems
You're
like
a
the issue.
woman-nagging.
Okay, I'm womanagging.
You're
Womanagging,
womanagging.
and I'm also
Oh wait,
womanizing,
wait, that
baby.
doesn't need to be gendered. That's just what y'all do to begin with. Woman nagging, we don't need to specify. That's just like
Exactly.
That's kind of your thing.
Yeah, and then when the guys are taking on the approach of a woman, then we can make it the mansplaining thing.